Oldboy was directed by Park Chan-wook and is currently celebrating its 20th anniversary with a 4K remaster back in theaters, and I got to see it, and it was incredible. The film follows a man named Odesu, who after being kidnapped and imprisoned for 15 years, is mysteriously released, and soon faces a series of challenges from his unknown captor. But before we get into the rest of the video, I do want to give a special thank you to the sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. BetterHelp has been great for me because over the past few years, my normal routine has completely shifted in every way. So many new things impacted my life on a daily basis, and there was always new things to learn, and it was very stressful at times, which is why it was great to be able to rely on BetterHelp. And you can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Chris Stuckmann. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P. That link is in the description below. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Oldboy is one of those movies where when you're talking to a fellow film fan and you tell them you've never seen that, they stop everything and they stare at you and they ask you why. And they tell you to immediately go home and watch it. There are a very few films that have that effect on film lovers. You occasionally will encounter conversations like that where you say, I've never actually seen that. And sometimes people are like, oh, you know what, you should check it out sometime whenever you have the chance. But with Oldboy, people don't do that. They freeze and they stare at you like you're insane. And they tell you to watch it immediately because it really is that good. But it's such a unique classic in that it doesn't really fit into any box that you would normally think would be on the IMDb top 250, where you're like, oh, well, it has this, and it has this, and it has this, because the film is incredibly dark, while also being very funny. It's got insane action sequences, and some of the best and most inventive editing I've ever seen. What I love about Oldboy, amongst many things, is that it's somehow able to be exceedingly sad. And I mean, just devastating. The things that Odesu goes through, and the revelations of the film's final scenes are so haunting that it can feel like a rock has been placed upon your chest. It's so dark, and yet I don't feel depressed. I don't feel sad. I enjoy watching the movie. It's extremely funny somehow. That's what makes Oldboy so special to me, is that it understands this perfect balance of multiple tones. And it never feels like it's wavering or like the film has fallen too far towards one side of comedy or action or drama or even horror. It just knows exactly how to present its very weird and amazing story. There are so many films that misunderstand the lessons that Oldboy taught them. A lot of filmmakers try to make their movies so dark and so gritty and filled with graphic violence and really depressing and grotesque things, and they think that that's why Oldboy is good, and it's just not. Films like that tend to actually make me feel bad, depressed about the state of humanity or whatever, but Park Chan-wook is so terrific at understanding the humor and some of the most darkest moments. And Bong Joon-ho is really great with that too. Both of those filmmakers have found amazing ways to portray very dark and sad stories with humor. And I don't know how they do it. And Oldboy is a prime example of that. When I hear people talk about the movie, I don't hear them ever mention that. I always hear them talk about the one-take action scene in the hallway, which, of course, is still amazing to watch and is brilliantly executed. They often talk about the horrific third act of the movie and the things that take place there. What I don't hear that much about is how masterful these tones are so perfectly balanced. And like all great films, it really is a magic trick because the things that happen towards the end of the movie really don't make all that much sense. There's a lot of information that's thrown at you, and I won't give it away just in case you've never seen the film, but you learn of a long string of events that had to happen for our character to get to where he is. And when you really think about it, it's rather implausible, but it works so well because you're so invested in these characters and you're so invested in Park Chan-wook's way of showing us these characters. The film is essentially flawless in regards to its presentation, its storytelling, its character work, and it has a way of making you care for the most despicable people and understanding their lives even though you don't condone the things they do. And that's what the best films are capable of doing. You've heard this before, I'm sure, but films are just empathy generators. You're supposed to find a way to connect with people that you've never met before and that are strangers or even fictional in this case. And it doesn't matter how many times I see Oldboy, I'm always picking up on some detail that I never noticed before. In this viewing on the theater screen, I noticed a lot of things that I'd never really paid attention to. Just small things in the set design or even shots that mirrored other shots and people standing in ways that was reflective of earlier moments, and it's really quite incredible the amount of work that Park Chan-wook put into this film, especially considering that it was based off of a manga. And during the following Q&A at the screening, which was hosted by Nicholas Winding Refn, it was pre-recorded, where him and Park Chan-wook talked about the movie. He talked about how he approached the manga and how certain things didn't really work for him and he felt that he could improve upon them. And hearing him 20 years later talk about the meticulous level of detail that he went to craft the movie, as well as things that he would have liked to have done differently. And it's funny because the things he wished he had done differently were just budgetary. He wanted a little more money to do a few different things, and I really understand that. And I find that very funny that a lot of filmmakers usually are like, well, I wish I could have done like this thing with this lens or had a different kind of set here or there. And most people don't even think about that kind of stuff. Oldboy is such a perfect movie that when you hear a director say like, oh, I could have done this one thing slightly better, you understand how a filmmaker can make a movie like Oldboy because he just cares that much. Obviously, I'm going to give Oldboy an A+. If you've never seen it, it's obviously great. Please check it out. It's one of my all-time favorite Korean films. Guys, thank you so much, as always, for watching. Look forward to more videos very soon. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmannized.